Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. Well, it's high time to talk again about my open collab, which is called #Pick a Pocket. So essentially, before this video is over, I'm going to be tagging three other channels, three other people, to create a pocket, post a video or an Instagram post showing your creation and using the hashtag Pick a Pocket. Now, in order for me to add that video to my playlist and know that you're playing along, you also need to tag me, Hazel and Aka Design, in the title. And then to keep this thing going and growing, I would ask that you tag 2 or 3 friends to take part. So maybe I will say right off the hop that I am going to tag Caroline from Caroline's Craft Tree. I'm going to tag Celeste at Woodland Inspired. And I'm going to tag Momo Juju at Momo Juju. So I will obviously put those channel names in the title, and I will also list them in the description box. So that's the scenario here. And I know that all of us are always doing pockets, so it's no biggie to take part. And there's no pressure. You can either, for you ladies, and anyone, you don't need to wait to be tagged either. Anyone who's doing a pocket and wants to join in and keep this thing growing, you can either show your finished project and describe what you did, or you can do, kind of a craft with me and show every single step. So I'm going to show you what I have been working on. Nothing like looking through your own stuff to find something that you started, maybe had a plan for, and, abandoned midway. So last night I just did some some decorating. What I had here, without the embellishments on the front, is basically a 4-pocket type scenario. So here, 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 and here. And the beauty of this is that all it takes is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So in this case, I used one of my gel prints. And I will show you how to do this shortly, but I just wanted to show you a prototype. So apparently at some point, and I don't even remember doing this to be honest, I used some coffee dyed paper, some stamped poppy images, and some other stamps on book page. So what I did yesterday was just continue to embellish. So I was using things that were either kicking around on my desk that I had just received at the junk journal group I'm now part of. So that's where these tags came from. So they were pre-made. I didn't do anything more to them other than add this fiber. I'm not even sure what this is. It's on this thing, and it's got this thicker woven part, so it adds a bit of interest. I had some avocado dyed cheesecloth, so I use that for texture. I had this stuff, which has been kicking around here for months, literally. This is an avocado dyed, I don't know what, maybe a waste product from a ribbon or a lace thing. And this is obviously sitting with my blush journal stuff. I had some of the telephone message pads and had received a bunch of these little pink tickets and tags in our group swap. So, and these were, anyway, self-explanatory. So basically, I have a tag in each pocket, and then I created, no, I didn't create. I rounded the corners on a pre-made tag. What did I put in this side? And here's a third one of the same thing. Did very subtle inking and folded. This measures 5 inches. Now, if necessary, now this could be sewn into a signature. Obviously, that would be probably the best way to use it, but it could also just be clipped to a page. And the actual design, I mean, if I needed to steal 1/4 of an inch on each end to make it fit better within a signature, then obviously I would do that as well. So that's sample number 1. I bought a thrifted paper pack, 8.5 by 11 paper, and there were 2 sheets of this particular thing. And this stuff is old, I would say. There's no date on here, but anyway, so I thought, okay, let me make a prototype and then let me show you. I mean, this is so simple, it almost defies or doesn't require explanation, but I had been fussy cutting and harvesting images out of a kid's book. So now this paper, as you can see, is very, very colorful and very busy. So I used green rickrack to sort of delineate where these pockets are. You will also notice, well, it's going to be hard to show on either. Well, maybe it's clearer here. To avoid any binding at this fold point, I cut a V. Now it can be, it can be obviously narrower than that, but this paper is heavier, slightly heavier than obviously the coffee paper. So basically, this also was something that I picked up at the group meeting. I had these kids. I didn't really care that her head extended beyond the top of the card because I think it'll still be safe. I basically added these images. I found something that identified who these kids are, and I stuck that in there. For the inside, I just looked through my 6x6 papers, found this green sort of started becoming the theme, made them short enough to fit in here, used my new whale tail punch to add tabs. Oh, I had also cut notches here. So, the notch and the tab help identify that there's something going on. Now, of course, the back is totally naked. I haven't done any inking here, well, other than here because I needed some differentiation, but more could obviously be added to either of these tags in terms of, a sentiment or a label or something. But I did just want to get on with it and show you the possibilities. So then on the outside, like I was trying out, or as Rachel from Roxy Creations would say, I was auditioning possible choices, and whatever I tried there just seemed to be floating. Now I could have looked for solid color paper, cardstock, to use sort of as a mat behind the actual child or whatever. But I thought I just used some scrap paper from, I think, a title page on a book. And that too didn't make it wasn't enough. Like if I would have used black, it would have been more effective. So I just did a bit of green inking around the corner to help set this apart from that very busy background. So I think that's pretty cute as well. So those are the only 2 that I have completed. But let me show you a couple of options. So I said I had 2 pieces of paper, so of course I wanted to use them up so I don't have to find a place to put them or, you know, wonder about, okay, what am I going to do with those? So you can see that this is going to be, these two projects are going to be different because, of course, with any rectangle piece of paper, how you fold it is going to determine the ultimate shape. So I chose to do the second one in this way. So basically what I did was decide how deep a pocket I wanted, and I did that fold first. And of course, where's my bone folder? Of course, the heavier the paper, like if you were to use cardstock, you would want to take, you would want to take an extra step or two to ensure that you really burnished your creases. Because of course, the thicker the paper, the more resistant it will be to folding. So then once I knew that, I just folded the other part of the paper down, not quite to there. Now, what I have learned, and I guess a consideration for you, would be how close you can get to that fold without actually interfering with it. And I'll tell you why that matters a bit. Because this fold, this edge is a little distance, 1/8 of an inch or so, from the edge of from the fold, it means that when I glue it down, which is of course what holds this baby together, I am essentially cutting into or reducing, boy, this bottle is dirty, or reducing the amount, the size of that pocket. And I discovered that the hard way when I tried to fit things into the pocket that were too snug. So I've just glued that down to close it up. Now, of course, we have the pocket there and the pocket there. And, oh, it would have been good to, well, I guess I can do it now. I should have, sorry about that. I should have, no, because I could eyeball it, but, you know, I don't really try to eyeball too many things. I'm gently folding this, and it would have been easier if I'd have done it before gluing that, so we can do that in the next one. But basically, I'm just holding those two edges lightly together so that I cut my little V in one fell swoop. This is not working very well, so do it. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Now, you can see that because of the, so I'm just going to do that extra little bit there. That doesn't look very straight, I must say, but the problem has been solved. So I've snipped up to that fold, and that means that there will be no binding and overlapping and creasing there. Now, what I choose to do is I always glue the outside, but I suppose, you know, if a person wanted, see, it's always a matter of deciding. I could glue here and leave this edge open, and that would become another narrow, skinny little pocket. So there'd be the bigger one. Let me show you with something. Oh, that's going to be too big. It's going to be too small. Let's pretend this was a tag. So we could have a pocket here and a pocket here. So theoretically, you could create 6 pockets. You know what? Maybe on this one I should do that. Now, of course, you can just, you know, pre-make these pockets and keep them wherever you keep stuff like that, waiting for something, some project to come along. Actually, maybe it wouldn't hurt to put a teeny tiny speck of glue there just to sort of control this a little better. And essentially you're done. Now let me fold this. I guess I could have folded it earlier in the process. And as much as we do all these folds and we're cognizant of what we're doing and how we're doing it, we're not doing slapdash work here, you can still end up with little teeny tiny protrusions. So of course, you just grab your scissors and take a hair width off. Oh, that didn't hold. Now you can see how with a very busy pattern like this, these pockets almost disappear. So when it comes to, and I'm not decorating, but when it comes to decorating this, I could glue a piece of colorful ribbon there, pick one of the colors to emphasize. You know, basically, or a piece of yarn or something to delineate where the opening is. I can also use my notch, or my punch, I mean, to make a couple of thumb holes to indicate to anyone that these would be side pockets as well. Let's just see what the overall measurement is here now. So this one is just 4 1/4, and the pocket is probably a little more usable than these shallow ones. But again, 2 different looks, and there's nothing in the world that says you can't, you know, you can choose whatever you want. Isn't it cute the way that little dog's head is just peeping above that pocket edge? So I will do this one more time, although I'm sure you got it before I even explained how I did it, because it's that simple. So also in what I got on the weekend was this zebra paper. So again, just pre-folded. Give this another little burnish. This is just, you know, maybe a hair heavier than copy paper. And then maybe I should, this time I should fold it too before I see. And even though everything appears perfect, it's not. So let go of perfection. Do the best you can. Okay, now this time I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to do my little notch before I glue. Again, you decide if you want your paper in a landscape or in a portrait format. I guess I was a little too cautious and didn't get far enough there. Okay, so this one looks like I folded it much closer. Now, I don't see any problem with it binding, so I will add that thin line of glue. And again, you know, if you're making journaling cards to fit, then obviously you make them the size you need to make them. If you're using something existing, like something that came out of a scrapbooking kit or something pre-existing, then you can obviously, in most cases, trim, or if you really can't trim without affecting the integrity of the project, you can, of course, just save it for another project. Now, you know that I tend to like using an oval to make the notch. Again, I usually offset it I don't want to start fooling around measuring, okay, well, where would the notch, like, where's the center? Is the notch going to be, am I accidentally going to cut into the corner of that pocket? So I'm just going to offset it a bit. It doesn't have to be deep, a deep notch to make it evident that, you know, there's a pocket there. And I may just, and because this will probably be sewn in, I'm not going to worry whether or not my two notches line up. Although I suppose I could have cut through 4 thicknesses of paper at once and then they would be perfect. So again, same thing here. I'm just, I will glue both sides down because this is too shallow a pocket to put anything into. And I will add this to my black and white bin of stuff for an upcoming project. Now, I didn't even do a proper greeting, and thank you for being here. Obviously, thank you for being here. I hope that you are keeping well. I hope that you are crafting your little hearts out. And I appreciate your presence here at the channel. And, oh, see, I have this, I bet you I cut this off a garment. Do I? Oh, yeah, I have enough here. Might as well glue this baby down. You know, those are not sharp enough for fabric. You know those things in women's clothing, how they, oops, that's kind of, if I keep trimming this, it'll be too short. It's still crooked. Wonder what's going on there. Now, of course, it would have been easier to do this before gluing it down, but I didn't think of it. So I'm going to just do a tiny bead of glue very close to the, whoa. I'm going to do a crooked bead of glue very close to the edge and glue this 1/8 inch ribbon down. And you can see that that already adds another element to, whoopsie. Maybe I'll leave that there for a second. Now hopefully this will cut straight the first time. A sensible person would wait till the glue is a little bit drier. But I never claim to be sensible. Okay, same thing on the other side. Is it safe to remove that? I suppose. Oh, now with that gone, I can see that I cannot believe I still have the time to adjust that. I don't know if you were even able to see that little hair's breadth of difference there, but normally the grab time is so instant with our glitter glue that you don't have time to make corrections. Uh-oh, I don't have a straight edge. Why? That ribbon is so tiny. Okay, let me see what I'm doing here. Hope that glue still has some stick since I was kind of slow to get that on there. Now I also have, excuse me, I have zebra napkins. So, you know, maybe when the time comes, when I actually get to the black and white journal, or multiples and journals, you know, it could be that I decide to use that. But in the meantime, I've got a good start here. Now, if a person wanted, the beauty of black and white is that no matter what you add, it is going to be so dramatic. So I could see adding red or orange, turquoise, green, you know, like you name it. It can be anything that you want. So now I think that I'm going to stop there. I do have this other piece of paper standing by, but again, this is so easy that it's probably, I don't want to insult your intelligence and assume that you didn't get it, because I know you got it. This happens to be something that I picked up at that table as well, and it's one of those design pages out of the one of the Stampington and Company magazines. So in this case, I guess it was Somerset Memories from 2013. So this is a bit heavier, but it's really nice. I could see this being stashed aside for my copper colored journal. So I'm going to stop there. See, and then, whoops, I dropped it, but you saw 3 inches of ribbon left to, maybe I should, I don't know, oh, wait, there it is. Oh my goodness. Maybe I'll end up tucking it in here so that, you know, when a tag is created, that can be used. So this is what I've got. These two are obviously wider. Those two are shorter. I mean, they're narrower and taller. And really so simple. Again, I will show you this. Not that there are any rules. It's just basically a request to get involved, to play along, to get some exposure, to create some exposure, to involve your friends. No pressure, no no real obligations either, in terms of, you know, you must do it on such and such a day and it has to be 7.5 minutes long and blah blah blah. None of that. I do ask that you, though, use tag me and use the hashtag, because that is literally the only way I can find what you've done and add your video to the playlist. So again, I'm tagging Caroline's Craft Tree, Celeste at Woodland Inspired, and Momo Juju. So if you ladies would be so kind as to do this and then tag 2 or 3 other people, I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.